and welcome Nevada Camera Club members and guests to the Nevada Camera Club Electronic Image Competition for September 2024. Before we begin tonight's competition, I'd like to give you a few reminders. First of all, we hope you'll all be able to attend our October 11th program meeting. That evening we'll be featuring Larry Hanna, and his program is entitled The Adventure Guys in the Middle of Nowhere, talking about some travels that he has taken with another favorite presenter of Nevada Camera Club, Russ Coletta. If you look at the information about that program on our website, there's a link to some YouTube videos that you might want to take a look at. I know I got really tempted last night when I was checking them out myself. Also, those of you who wish to have copy included in the October newsletter, please remember to submit that to me no later than this coming Tuesday. And that would go to publisher@nevadacc.org. We also have a few announcements from Alan Duff. Alan.
Thanks, Linda. Just to kind of follow up on a few things happening this fall. So first, thanks to everyone that came to our Gilcrease Ranch, Gilcrease Orchard workshop or meetup group this last Tuesday. It was really fun, and just encourage you still can go out there. They're open each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday through October 31st. And so they have sunflowers, which are fun to photograph. They have pumpkin fields there, have all kinds of fruit there. And so it's fun. I would suggest if you're going to go at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's less busy then, and it gets really busy. There's tons of people there. But anyway, it's fun to buy some fruit if you want to, or pick some of your own pumpkins and photograph around the orchards there. So you got some weeks you can still do that. You have to buy tickets before you go online, $3 for weekdays and $5 for Saturday. But still encourage you to go out on your own. A couple other things happening now we get into the fall. The weather's a little better. Springs Preserve has their butterfly habitat opening on October 5th. So October 5th through November 28th, you can go to their butterfly habitat and photograph the butterflies. It's small, so we really can't do it as a meetup or a group. You can go individually, and it's still fun. There's no Nellis Aviation Nation this fall. There usually is an open house at Nellis Air Force Base in October, November. They've pushed that out to April of next year. So no open house at Nellis until April of next year. I was thinking Ed would be here to announce this, but they're going to implode the Tropicana on October 9th. Call it Drop the Trop. And so you can go online and get some details on that. But October 9th, you go down and photograph the implosion of the Tropicana if you want. And then the last thing I'll just mention, there's some auto shows coming up in the fall here. And so just look online. There's several of those. You go if you like to shoot photograph the collectible cars, some of the hot rods and stuff like that. There's several auto shows coming up. And then SNOR, which is the Southern Nevada Off-Road Racing Enthusiasts, they have their big race out at Primm in the springtime, but they have a off-road race in Pahrump on October 25th and 26th. So if you want to go photograph the off-road cars in the desert there, October 25th and 26th in Pahrump, and just go on and look for SNOR, S-N-O-R-E, and you get the details there. So plenty of things to do in the fall. Of course, the fall colors are just peaking up on Cedar Mountain right now. We usually could go up to Lee Canyon up above the ski resort, and there's a nice aspen grove up there, but that trail's closed for 2 years, so you can't get to that aspen grove up there. But if you go up in Cedar City, we're going to put out some suggestions of where to go and when to go. I'm booked all through here this time of year, so we won't do a field trip, but there's plenty of opportunity to go up on Cedar Mountain and get some beautiful fall colors up there. So get out shooting in the better weather.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, our Competition staff this evening included setup assistants from Stephen Cupp, Linda Hicks, Mary Sheets, and Ed Stiglitz. We have announcer this evening, Linda Hicks. Our projectionist is Stephen Cupp. Our scorekeeper is Mary Sheets, and our merit recorder is Juliana Stratton. Our judges this evening, in chair number 1, back in town for at least a little while, Cindy Wilson. In chair number 2, Ron Frost. In chair number 3, Harry Gooman. In chair number 4, Janice Phillips. And in chair number 5, Alan Duff. 31 members enter 90 images in 36 unique categories this evening. For those of us with live mics, please turn off your cell phones. Judges, with your comments, we appreciate hearing a strength as well as a suggestion for improvement about the images you see. And now here is your Nevada Camera Club electronic image competition for September 2024. If we can start, please, with judges 1, 2, and 5 with intermediate, color, abstract, ceiling, and loft. Scores 887.
Figure out how to get this.
Okay, I'll just jump in. This is an interesting photo with all the lines and the diagonals and the different colored woods and the tin roof and so forth. So in that respect, it's interesting. Not quite what I would consider an abstract, but since we can kind of tell what it is, but I think it's interesting just because of the colors and the angles and the lines.
Image received a 23. It was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for advanced color. Abstract, resplendent.
I'm going to get this.
Scores 898.
I thought it was a very interesting image. I like the colors. It seemed a little soft, but I thought maybe that was part of their abstract process.
Image received a 25. It was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, as we move into intermediate color, animals and pets. Colorado River duck. Scores 887.
Very nice image of the mallard. I think the white balance could have been adjusted just a bit to make the whites not, some of the whites look a little greenish to me, but otherwise for an intermediate image, this is quite well done.
Image received a 23 and was the only image in the category. Judges 2, 4, and 5, please. Advanced monochrome commercial. What's old is new again. Scores 788.
So I like this image. I think the strength of the image is the tonality with some lighter colored stone and some darker colored stone. And you got this arch in the middle, which really stands out. So I think all that's good. It kind of gives it an old time feeling, and Wells Fargo is definitely an old company. Only suggestion is probably move a little more to the right so that the W is not cut off. In a commercial, you want your name to stand out as much as possible.
Image received a 23 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for advanced color creative. Kale Forest. Scores? 888.
I think this is a beautiful image. I love that purple color. It's just beautiful. It's a little busy because there's so much of it. In fact, the left side where the purple branches are branching out could have been chosen just that left side with that branch because that's really beautiful right there.
Image received a 24 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, advanced monochrome creative, Dodge. Scores? 788.
So it definitely has some creative processing to it with the swirling of some of the chrome there. And it's kind of an interesting old time Dodge symbol, which I think is interesting. It feels like a little bit like it's cut off at the top and bottom. Maybe see a little more of that. And then we got those kind of pieces of it off to the left there under the D. That is, if you're going to cut it out, then I'd cut that part and over on the right to get those shadows completely dark.
Image received a 23 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for master color creative, Southwest Seed Pods. Scores? 988.
I really like your seed pods. I love the colors. I love the effect that you use. I wanted to give it a 9, but the background was kind of bothering me. Mainly the upper left because of the beige, and it's not in any other corners of the background. Maybe a little lightly at the bottom, but the seed pods themselves are really, really nice.
Image received a 25 and was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 4, and 5, please, for beginner color documentary, Neonopolis. Scores? 988.
So I think the immediate impact of this is just the colors. And with the dark background, they just really stand out strong. And I actually like it kind of off kilter a little bit, a little tipped. It's a little more interesting that way. And it's super sharp and, you know, you got no distractions at all. So very well done.
Image received a 25 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for intermediate color documentary, F-16 Turn and Bank. Scores? 898.
So the aspect of this that's so good is it's just sharp. And I always said, if you can't see the pilot, you miss the shot. So you certainly got the pilot sharp here. And the challenge with it is it feels static. I think it needs more room. These things are going really fast. And so I think you need more room, especially in front of it. And so you don't need to crop in quite this close, but I think the plane itself, you did a really good job.
Image received. Mining Tools, Gold Point, Nevada.
Can you
Kind
tell
of
us the category again, Linda? You cut out.
I'm sorry, this is documentary. Intermediate color documentary.
okay.
Scores? 787.
I like the documentary. I think you did a nice job. I just need to see more information, especially the bottom, you know, the whatever that is, barrel, the bucket or whatever. I'd like to see the whole thing and instead of having it cut off. I like the green in the wood and, you know, the purples add interest to it.
Let me just add one comment, Linda. This documentary, so it should be totally realistic. And I think the handles on the shovel and the pick have been manipulated a little bit. They don't look realistic. So that's the only reason I downgraded it as far as a documentary picture.
Image received a 22. There are 2 images to review for placement, starting with Mining Tools, Gold Point, Nevada, and going back 1 to F-16 Turn and Bank. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for F-16 Turn and Bank. Scores? 111. So the judges have chosen F-16 Turn and Bank. Judges 3, 4, and 5, please, for advanced color documentary, Maximum Effort. Scores? 878.
I gave it the low score only because it's just so busy with all the people. It's really hard to focus on the main subject of him jumping over. I don't know if there was any other way or position that you could have photographed this in, but it just, everything is just slammed together and very hard to distinguish him from the busy crowd in the back.
Image received a 23. Herded sheep taking a water break. Scores? 887.
So here, this is an interesting documentary of these sheep out grazing and a few of them drinking, and you got some highlight right in the back, and then you got some shadows down in the bottom left. I think this is kind of, again, too busy. There's too much. And I think if you just focused on those three that are drinking, that would have been more interesting. So it's a good documentary of all these sheep there, but just as far as artistic, I would say the three sheep drinking water is the most interesting part of the picture.
Image received a 23. Korean Friendship Bell, Long Beach. Scores? 889.
I think this is a beautiful image. It's so sharp. I debate between 8 and 9. I just think a 9 might have been better if you had, sunset, sunrise, get the warm colors in there. But you've got the whole image and it's sharp from front to back, and it's very nice to look at.
Image received a 25. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with the Korean Friendship Bell at Long Beach, going back 1 to herded sheep taking a water break, and going back 1 to maximum effort. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for maximum effort. Scores? 332. Herded sheep taking a water break. Scores? 223. And Korean Friendship Bell. Scores? 111. So the judges have chosen Korean Friendship Bell. Same judges, please, for advanced monochrome documentary, Falls of the Ohio Release.
Can you repeat the title?
Falls of the Ohio Release. Scores? 787.
I think it's a pretty good subject. When I look at the leading lines and the repetition of the pillars, on the right side of the image is actually more interesting than some of the stuff on the left side. And what could be better, I think, some of the contrast at the pillars at the bottom, but there's a lot of interest, but the water is somewhat blown out. And so some adjustment could have been done over there, and maybe crop a little bit of the left side out.
The image received a 22 was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, as we move into master color documentary, Sunrise at Twisted Forest. Scores? 898.
I like the position of your bristlecone pines. I love that large one. It's got nice lighting on it. I mean, maybe, you know, could have been even earlier where you got more pink in the sky, but I think the lighting is very nicely done. And I like the curvature of the land and the trees kind of curving in this image.
Image received a 25. Children playing on street in Morocco. Scores? 878.
I like the colors here, I like the textures here. I like the little moss growing on the roof, and it feels very old. And you got that one lantern up in the corner, which is a little tight. And then you cut off one of the kids' feet too. And I don't know, the title, doesn't look like they're playing. It looks like they're just walking. But I love the buildings and the colors and textures.
Image received a 23. Judges, you have 2 images to review for placement, with children playing on street in Morocco and going back 1 to Sunrise at Twisted Forest. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Sunrise at Twisted Forest. Scores? 1, 1, 2. So the judges have chosen Sunrise at Twisted Forest. Same judges for beginner color nature wildlife, Springs Preserve.
Did you say this was beginner?
Yes.
Okay.
Scores? 888.
So I think the image is actually nicely composed and the colors are beautiful. The only advice I would give for future is choose a prettier flower, and like a butterfly that is whole, because the some of the wing that is damaged takes a little bit away from the image.
The image received a 24 and was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 2, and 4, please. We are in advanced color, nature wildlife, Arizona sister butterfly.
This intermediate or
This is advanced. Scores? 898.
The butterfly itself is beautiful and sharp. I think the way to improve it for me would be to crop out some of the flower that was out of focus, because I keep drawing my eye down there and I want to stay up on the butterfly, which again, the butterfly is beautiful and sharp from tip to tip.
Image received a 25. A puffin with a fish. Scores? 989.
it's a beautiful image. I mean, you're sharp, the whites are nice. I mean, I love that he's got a fish hanging out of his mouth. I love the position that you put him over to the left. I think this is a really nice image and you did a great job.
Image received a 26. Eat more chicken. Scores? 777.
We all scored it the same. It's just too busy. I mean, the turkeys are dark and they're kind of blending in with the background, and the front of the plants are, not in focus. So your eye kind of tends to go down there, but it's just that it's blending too much and there's not enough separation to make it more dramatic.
Image received a 21. Angry bird. Scores? 888.
I think the title is quite accurate with Angry Bird. I like the fact we've got a nice crisp headshot in the eye. I maybe would like to see a little more detail in the tail. I don't know that I need any more detail in the surroundings, because you still got the feet. Very excellent Angry Bird.
Image received a 24. Bee and blossom. Scores? 999.
I love the colors, the fact that, the yellows are so bright without being blown out. And then the different circles of the flower, the bee is crisp. And I think our scores show that this is a beautiful image.
27. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with Bee and Blossom, going back 3 to Puffin with a Fish, and going back 1 to Arizona Sister Butterfly. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for Arizona Sister Butterfly. Scores? 333. A Puffin with a Fish. Scores 2-2-2. So the judges have chosen Bee and Blossom. Judges 1, 4, and 5, please, for advanced monochrome nature wildlife. Dinner time. Scores 8-9-9.
The zebras themselves are crisp and sharp. What would have elevated it to a 9 for me is if the background was just a little more out of focus to really just bring out only the zebras. But otherwise, it's an absolutely beautiful picture.
Image received a 26 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for master color nature wildlife. Eyes of the Alpha. Scores 9-8-9.
Well, I love the action in this, the splashing water. It's sharp, the wolf is sharp, background's not distracting. But the real strength of this image is the intensity of the eyes. I'm glad you named it as you did. So if you just focus on the wolf's face and the intensity of his stare, it's a really strong image.
Image received a 26. Fairy Thimble. Scores 8-8-8.
It's a beautiful image with the, the purple and the green, give it, dramatic impact when you first see it. I like the angle of the flower. I just think it needs to have a higher score the flower needs to be totally sharp. The petals down toward the bottom and even some of the water drops need to be just tack sharp to be a 9.
Image received a 24. Hummingbird in Rose of Sharon.
Are we in master or advanced?
Master.
Thank you.
Scores 7-8-8.
Well, this is, it's hard to do and catch these hummingbirds. They're so fast, but you did a good job catching this beautiful hummingbird here. I think the lighting was a bit harsh, and you see that in the flower. And I think you could have cropped it in a little more too. You don't need some of the other parts of that, but you did a great job capturing the hummingbird itself.
Image received a 23. Judges, you have 3 images to review for placement, starting with Hummingbird in Rose of Sharon, going back 1 to Fairy Thimble, And going back 1 to Eyes of the Alpha. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for Eyes of the Alpha. Scores? 1, 1, 1. Fairy Thimble. Scores? 2, 3, 3. And Hummingbird in Rose of Sharon. Scores? 3, 2, 2. So the judges have chosen Eyes of the Alpha. Judges 2, 3, and 5, please. Master Monochrome Nature Wildlife Stripes. Scores? 8, 8, 9.
I think it's a beautiful image. I was a toss-up between 8 and 9, and if I had like more life visible in the eyes, then I'd definitely move to a 9.
Image received a 25 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for Intermediate Color People. The Look of Love. Scores? 8, 8, 8.
I think this is well captured image in a fairly crowded room, and it really takes you right to the face of the young lady. Few things that you could do to improve in terms of maybe not have the out of focus bottles in there, and just move like 6 inches to the right, and they would be out, and then possibly crop some of those other people out. Those could be some of the things that you could do to improve something like this in the future.
The image received a 24 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for Advanced Color People. Cigar. Scores? 9, 8, 9.
I think this is well done. His eyes are so interesting, I think, is the strength of the image. And like, I even kind of like that flag out top of his head, kind of gives you the location and the surroundings there. But I think he did a real good job with the exposure and the focus and the interest, and got the end of the cigar even red. So well done.
Image received a 26 and was the only image in the category. Judges 2, 3, and 4, please, for Advanced Monochrome People. Diner Life.
Can you repeat the title, please?
Diner Life. Scores 778.
I think the idea is good in the sense that the kitchen, the life in the kitchen is okay. But if I believe the image would score better if the person was doing something else and like the face was visible.
Image received a 22. Same judges, same category. I'm ready for you. Scores 888.
I really like the way you have her positioned. I love how you got the glow. Love her look. I think she needs to be a little bit sharper in the eye area. And then the blown out cap at the top might have been able to clone that in or tone it down. But the overall image is really well placed, how you have her, and has a lot of interest.
Image received a 24. Judges, you have two images to review, starting with I'm ready for you and going back 1 to Diner Life. Judges, a 1 or 2, please, for Diner Life. Scores 222. So the judges have chosen I'm ready for you. Same judges, please, for intermediate color photojournalism. I got it. Scores 889.
I gave it a 9 because you're in the intermediate class, and I think you just did a great job. I love all the positions of the people. No one's really blocking anyone. I mean, his arm is almost blocking his face, but it's not. I mean, the horse has an interesting face. The ball is there. The ground dust is showing. I wish there was a little bit more in the front to give the ball a place to go. And in the background, the dirt, you could have just toned that down, burned that down, and it wouldn't have, your eyes wouldn't go toward that so heavily. But as far as the grouping of the people, I think it's excellent.
Image received a 25 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for intermediate monochrome photojournalism. Got you.
It's intermediate, right?
Correct. Scores 999.
This has a lot.
Go ahead.
This has a lot of action. I mean, between the calf, and his movements, the guy with his rope. I mean, both of the ropes have different types of action going on, and the white wall helps separate the cowboys. So this was excellent job. You don't have a lot of people in the background disturbing the image, and it's nice and clean and tons of action.
Image received a 27 was the only image in the category. Judges 1, excuse me, judges 2, 4, and 5, please. Advanced color photojournalism, Rockstar Wave. Scores 898.
I gave it the high score. I really like this image, even though maybe you can't see the pilot clearly. You can see his head. I like the fact that the cockpit has that yellow glow in it. Your eye goes right to that yellow cockpit area. I love your angle. Love the clouds in the back, the grayish clouds separating the jet. It's a good position.
Image received a 25. Bucking Horse. Scores 888.
Well, you really caught this shot at the ideal moment here with the bucking when the tail of the horse clear up in the air and you can see his face is strained. Horse's head's down. All of that's great. And I think it's well composition here. Of course, it's always the challenge is the background in these. You just can't get rid of the busyness of the background. But the horse and the rider action is great.
Image received a 24. There are 2 images to review for placement, starting with Bucking Horse and going back 1 to Rockstar Wave. Judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Rockstar Wave. Scores 211. So the judges have chosen Rockstar Wave. Same judges, please, for Master Color Photojournalism, Rebel QB Run. Scores 988.
So I love the player running with the ball. You can see his eyes. You can see him holding that football so tight. And then the other player grabbing his leg. That's all great. And you got it with a shallow depth of field, so the background's blurred out, which is great. I feel like I'd like to see a little more. It's cropped a little tight, a little more of the guy tackling him, maybe a little more of his legs.
Image received a 25 and was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 3, and 4, please. We're at Advanced Color Pictorial. Red Fishing Boat. Scores 887.
kind of a harsh lighting time of day as far as, impact of the photo. I think the bottom could have been cropped out just a little bit, but the boat itself is beautifully done and made a nice image.
Image received a 23. Silk Road Bridge, Bennington, Vermont. Scores? 988.
I think the composition is very nice. The bridge at a angle and the road coming in and leaving, that looks very good. When I look at the sky, especially the dark grays and the light one, I mean, it's uh, some of it could actually have been toned down a bit. There's like really bright spots and then really dark spots. So that would make it more even between the clouds and the foreground.
Image received a 25. Jewel of the Rockies. Scores? 989.
I think this is a beautiful image. I love the mountains with the snow in the background. I love the circular feel of the lake and the blueness of the lake and the reflection of the mountains in there. And I'm just thinking how even more awesome this image could be if it had sunlight or sunset lighting on it. It's still beautiful even with this lighting, and it's a great job.
Image received a 26. A house and a waterfall, Iceland. Scores? 888.
I'd like to have seen just a little more vibrancy in the colors. The lupins could have been brought out, the color of the lupins. I was just in Iceland, so I know they're lupins. It just need a little more contrast and a little more punch to bring out this beautiful scene. But otherwise, I love the waterfall.
Image received a 24. Bell Rock. Scores? 989.
This is a beautiful image. You shot it at the right time of day. You have the most awesome clouds in the background. I don't know how you could even improve this. You just were there at the right time.
Image received a 26. Coral Beach. Scores? 777.
Number one, the horizon is not straight. The clouds are blown out. And again, just the colors just don't grab me, but it's a beautiful place to be, but really need to straighten that horizon.
Image received a 21. Painted crosses. Scores? 877.
I think it's a beautiful scene. The image would have improved if the crosses were in focus. Seems like even the first one is marginally in focus, and the two in the back are completely out of focus, and that just takes the eye away.
Image received a 22. High in Norway. Scores? 988.
I think the strength of the image is the partial light filtering through the clouds and falling on the parts of the mountain, and how you've actually captured the clouds. So it's a beautiful scene.
Image received a 25. Mardi Gras in the forest. Scores? 788.
I honestly can't figure out what is going on here. Is that a painting of the building hanging in the forest? I guess I just don't understand the photo.
Image received a 23. Judges, you have 4 images to review for placement. Going back 1 to High in Norway. Going back 3 to Bell Rock. Going back 2 to Jewel of the Rockies. And going back 1 to Silk Road Bridge, Bennington, Vermont. Would you like to see those again?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Silk Road Bridge. Forward 1, Jewel of the Rockies. Forward 2, Bell Rock. Forward 3, High in Norway. Okay.
Sure.
Judges 1, 2, 3, or 4 for High in Norway.
The last one.
You need to see them again, Janice.
I think I do.
Okay, let's go through them again. High in Norway. Back 3 to Bell Rock. Back 2 to Jewel of the Rockies. And back 1 to Silk Road Bridge.
Okay.
Okay. Now that we've flipped the order, a 1, 2, 3, or 4 for Silk Road Bridge.
Just lost it.
Scores? 444. Jewel of the Rockies. Scores? 231. Bell Rock. Scores? 112. And High in Norway. Scores? 323. So the judges have chosen Bell Rock for first. In second is Jewel of the Rockies. Third is High in Norway. Thank you, judges. Judges 1, 2, and 5, please. Master Color Pictorial, Florence at Sunset.
Home state. Now it's time to start pruning.
Scores?
If you live north of there, yeah,
can't
you
stop
still got
it.
8, 9, 8.
Well, this is just a beautiful scene. What a, beautiful city, and the S curve and the river is just beautiful. I'd probably like to see a little more contrast and color in the city, and then maybe a little less in that sun, and the sun in the river. It looks a little overblown.
Image received, the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for Master Monochrome Pictorial, Serene Harbor. Scores? 999.
It's crisp, it's sharp, it has good contrast. I like the angled of the harbor, and I think the scores again reflect how beautiful this is.
Image received a 27 was the only image in the category. Judges 1, 3, and 5, please, for advanced color, still life, red amaryllis. Scores? 888.
I think this is a great image, a very beautiful. The subject is very beautiful. What took a point away for me is I thought the shadow wasn't really adding much to the picture, and maybe taking a little bit away.
Image received a 24. Aloe speciosa. Scores? 889.
I think this is a really unique still life picture. You don't see this very often, but I just think it's really well done. The lighting on it, the focus, the variation in color, the lines in each of the pods is really interesting. I just think it's a very interesting picture and well done.
Image received a 25. The chameleon.
The title again?
The chameleon.
Oh.
Scores? 877.
I get your point here. The little man is the same color as the flower, so he's like a chameleon. And so it's an interesting concept. It's probably the strength of the image, but I don't know. It's just not real impactful to me.
Image received a 22. Conversation over coffee. Scores? 978.
I think that the concept is very powerful. But I was looking at the focus of these objects, and I think when I look at the statue on, or like whatever the object on the left, from my viewpoint, the focus is really more on the shoes, and rather than the other important part of the image. Even the front of the mug is a little bit out of focus.
Image received a 24. Crayons. Scores? 988.
So the impact here is certainly the colors. I mean, that in the dark background, it just pops out really well. I think this could be in the creative category too. So instead of just having the reflections, you made them unique and interesting. And that's kind of fun.
There are 4 images to review for placement, starting with crayons, going back 1 to conversation over coffee, going back 2 to aloe speciosa, and going back 1 to red amaryllis. Would you like to see those 4 images again?
Yes.
Okay, red amarillo, aloe speciosa, conversation over coffee, and crayons. Judges, a 1, 2, 3, or 4, please, for crayons. Scores? 1, 1, 2. Conversation over coffee. Scores? 2, 4, 3. Aloe Speciosa. Score. Cindy, flip your card.
Okay.
3, Harry, flip yours for me again. 331. And Ren Amaryllis. Scores 4-4. So the judges have chosen crayons for first. In second is Aloe Speciosa. And then 8, 9, and then Red Amaryllis. Thank you. Okay, judges 3, 4, and 5, please. For advanced monochrome still life, Pee-wee and the Juice. Scores 7-7-8.
So my idea of the still life, as I understand it, that the placement of the objects and the light is fully in your control. And so I think even though the concept is very powerful, some of the things like the window in the back wasn't really necessary in there, and some of the areas seem to be a bit too bright, and so it just that's the one thing I would actually improve. Just move it around to remove some of the distractions.
Image received a 22 and was the only image in the category. Same judges, please, for intermediate color unclassified. Not unclassified, yes. Look, Mom. Scores 8-8-8.
I like the fact that you captured this image. It would have been nice if you kind of waited and maybe got the woman and the dog a little bit closer to the hydrant, and if the dog's eyes were more focused on it, that would really be effective in this image, but good capture.
Image received a 24 and was the only image in the category. Judges 2, 3, and 5, please, for advanced color unclassified. Finding Nectar. Scores 9-8-8.
think this is well done. The beautiful butterfly, nice composition, sharp, flowers sharp, backgrounds diffused. And I just think it's really well done. It's a good picture.
Image received a 25. Peyto Lake in Banff. Scores? 988.
This is such a beautiful location. It's just wonderful here. We got nice clouds, we got great mountains in there. It's a great picture of this overlook here. The only thing I'd say is it looks like the sun is kind of peeking through the clouds on the mountains. I just wait till the sun hit that water, because that water would really pop with the glacial water being so blue. So I just think the lake is so pretty, it'd be a little better with brighter water.
Image received a 25. F35. Scores? 878.
I think the sharp image of the plane and the clouds are actually very beautiful. But in a way, it's distinctive. I mean, it would be a much stronger image if we could actually see the front or slightly even the side. From the back, the plane is not that remarkable.
Image received a 23. Clear to land. Scores? 988.
Really great shot of the bomber. You've got the aircraft itself. You've also got the exhaust coming out. That was good.
Image received a 25. Love in the Mist.
Say that again, Linda.
Love in the Mist. Scores? 887.
So I'm not sure what the title means, so that maybe it's love flower or something. I'm not quite sure what that's referring to. I like the kind of scraggly branches sticking out around it. That just makes it a little unique. But the upper side of it's not in focus. And I'm not sure looking straight down on the flower is the best angle for it either.
Image received a 23. Rolling the die. Scores? Seven, 7, 8.
I think it took me a while to actually figure out what exactly was going on. But the subject is actually fairly small relative to the rest of the areas, which are also very bright. So it's the eye doesn't naturally go into the subject.
Image received a 23. Just you have 3 images to review for placement. Going back 2 to Clear to Land. Going back 2 to Peyto Lake in Banff. And going back 1 to Finding Nectar. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for Finding Nectar. Ron, I think you've frozen. There we go. Okay, scores, please. 2, 1, 2. Peyto Lake in Banff. Scores. 1, 2, 1. And Clear to Land. Scores. 3, 3, 3. So the judges have chosen Peyto Lake in Banff. Judges 1, 3, and 5, please, for advanced monochrome unclassified. Only the best.
You say advanced monochrome?
That's what I said. That's what it was entered in. Scores? 6, 6, 7.
Interesting subject. It's just not monochrome.
The image received a 19. Judges 1, 4, and 5, please, for Beginner Club Challenge. This month's challenge is Moving Water. Paris, Las Vegas. Scores? 8, 8, 8.
So I think you chose a really good subject for our challenge. It's certainly moving water here. It's very contrasting, and it's just because of the time of day. So I think this would be a better picture if it was in the shadows, maybe at a different time of day, and still get that movement of the water, but not so much harshness.
Image received a 24 was the only image in the category. Judges 2, 4, and 5, please, for Intermediate Club Challenge, moving Starbucks water.
Hmm.
Scores 878.
I gave it an 8 just for being unique or unusual.
Image received a 23. Tank Creek Waterfall. Scores 888.
It definitely meets the category. You have lots of moving water and your eyes focus on the water itself.
Image received a 24. Forest River. Scores 988.
Really like the image there of the flowing river water. I thought about the fact that I think it really does need the greenery and the trees on both sides to separate it from the river.
Image received a 25. Steamy water. Scores 988.
Probably Yellowstone, but you know, unique again, moving water with the steam. Pretty area. I think you could tone down the highlights a little bit, especially along the river there. It's just blown out, but it would bring out more texture in the steam too.
Image received a 25. There are 3 images to review for placement, starting with steamy water, going back 1 to Forest River, and going back 1 to Tank Creek Waterfall. Judges, a 1, 2, or 3, please, for Tank Creek Waterfall. Scores 233. Forest River. Scores 312. And Steamy Water. Scores 121. So the judges have chosen Steamy Waters. And in second place is Forest River. Judges 1, 2, and 3, please, for Advanced Club Challenge. Ocean Wave. Scores 888.
Like the contrasting colors between both sides of the waves just cresting with little mist coming off the top. It's a very nice image.
Image received a 24. Lake Tahoe outfall. Scores 778.
To me, the outflow structure is the primary part of the image. I see the moving water, but the outflow structure kind of takes me away from moving water.
Image received a 22. Yellowstone rainbow. Scores 887.
A beautiful image, but I find the waterfall itself is just way too bright. If that could have been toned down just a bit, then you would concentrate more on the rainbow, but that bright white light just grabs your attention.
Image received a 23. Colorful collision. Scores 898. Comment?
I think it meets the club challenge. The main part of the image where the splash is, it's in focus. The flying off drops are in focus. It would be even more powerful if the rest of the like where the water is rising, that was also in focus.
Image received a 25. Moving waves. Scores 878.
I'd like the waves to have been a little bit more focused or sharper. I mean, again, they're moving, so you get the motion, so that takes care of the requirement. I'm not seeing the crispness of the image that I'd like to see.
Image received a 23. Sunwapita Falls. Scores 888.
The waterfalls are beautiful. I think the photo could have been enhanced if it was just the dark, all the dark had been brightened up just a bit, bring out more of the green and the trees. But the waterfall itself is beautiful. I would like it to be a little brighter. And not the water, but the surrounding.
Image received a 24. Morning at the falls. Scores? Nine, 8, 7.
So the light on the spray going out is actually beautiful. At least and the location and the composition is good. At least from my point of view, the buildings seem to be a little bit crooked.
Image received a 24. Artist's Point. Scores? 7, 8, 7.
This is an iconic scene, but I think the time of the day was not really in your favor. And if the sun was in a slightly different direction, the all of the scene could be equally exposed.
Image received a 22. Power. Scores? 9, 9, 7.
So I think there is power. How to understand that this is actually water without a context. In my point of view, the image would be more powerful if there was actually some context of showing the power.
Image received a 25. Waterfall in New England. Scores? 8, 9, 8.
Here is a very beautiful scene of the forest and the fall foliage. The picture of the waterfall could be improved by maybe increasing another half a second or a second on your the exposure.
Image received a 25. In the White Mountains. Scores? 777.
I think the image could have been improved by just cropping in on just the moving water, and kind of the central area is very pretty, but all the stuff in the background really does not contribute to the impact of the photo.
Image received a 21. Umoni Stream. Scores? 777.
I think the spot is good. Maybe like zooming into some of those central areas would actually help and not include the branches. They're not really adding anything to the image, and maybe reduce the highlights a bit.
Image received a 21. Sacramento River. Scores? 888.
Again, I think this could have been improved with cropping out at least a third of the top there. The water on the lower left is beautiful. And I think it's just a little oversaturated in the greens, quite a few little hot spots there. But the water itself from that broken off trunk left, I mean, that's the best part of the photo. And I think you could have cropped down to just that and maybe got a higher score.
Image received a 24. Victoria Falls. Scores? 998.
A lovely shot of the falls. I think the greenery in the foreground helps pick it off. The blue sky, I don't know if I'd want to add or subtract, but having a little bit of blue sky gives you the rest of the picture of the scene.
Image received a 26. Flowing water. Scores? 888.
It's an excellent composition, and you've actually gotten a pretty good silky texture of the water. So good job.
Image received a 24. Rainbow Falls, Hawaii. Scores? 888.
I think it's a good composition. The greens are very green and the water is flowing in full force. in my opinion, the image could have been improved by like adding another half second to the exposure.
Image received a 24. Wild waters. Scores? 777.
For
And
me, there's just too many blown out highlights. It's just too bright. I really needed to put a neutral density filter on it to tone it down just a bit. It's a excellent location. Just need to tone down the highlights.
Image received a 21. Milk splash in coffee. Score? 988.
well, I think it's an excellent capture of the splash. Image would be more powerful if the middle part of that splash wasn't as bright.
Image received a 25. Judges, you did a pretty good job. You only have 5 images to review for placement.
Jeez.
Starting with milk splash in coffee. Going back 4 to Victoria Falls. Going back 4 to waterfall in New England. Going back 1 to power. And going back 5 to colorful collision. I'm sure you want to see those again.
Definitely.
Colorful collision, forward 5 to power,
Can you start?
forward,
Can you start again, please?
okay, back to, yes, colorful collusion, not collusion. Been listening to too many political advertisement. Colorful collision, forward 5 to power, 1 to waterfall in New England, 4 to Victoria Falls, 4 to milk splash in coffee. We good?
No, one more.
One more time. Okay, milk splash in coffee, back to Victoria Falls, back to waterfall in New England, power, and colorful collision.
That's good.
Okay. Judges, a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, please, for colorful collision. Scores? Harry, flip your card for me. 552. Power. Scores. 3, 2, 5. Waterfall in New England. Scores. 4, 3, 4. Victoria Falls. Scores. 1, 1, 1. And milk splash in coffee. Scores. 2, 4, 3. You chose Victoria Falls for first place. In second is Milk Splash and Coffee. And in third, Power. Thank you, judges. That was quite a group. Okay, our final category this evening is Master Club Challenge. And our first image is called
What
Iceland.
judges? What
Ah.
judges?
Details. Thank you. Judges 1, 4, and 5.
Thank you.
Okay, Iceland waterfall. Scores? 888.
It's a beautiful waterfall framed by these green moss. Got a good shutter speed, so you got the movement in the water. It's very pretty.
Image received a 24. Cutting force. Scores? 788.
I think the whole top third of the image could have been cropped out. It really doesn't add to the theme of water. And the whites are just almost blown out. The green water is beautiful. If we just concentrated on that, I think it would have been a stronger image.
Image received a 23. Icy waters of Diamond Beach, Iceland. Scores? 877.
So our competition is moving water. The ice isn't moving, but the ice is the main subject here, and the moving water behind it is not. So it's just a beautiful picture, but I don't think it meets the challenge as well.
Image received a 22. Godafoss Fall waterfall. Scores? 899.
I think this is a beautiful image. I think it definitely matches the category. Lots of moving water. I don't know if the horizon is off or maybe the landscape looked like that, but I would have straightened it up a little bit. But I still gave it a 9 because it still has a lot of beauty.
Image received a 26. San Miguel headwaters. Scores? 787.
I mean, I gave it the high score. I love the way the water is flowing, the angle, toward the top and then coming toward the front. I mean, there's some issues with the light. I mean, maybe you could have toned the top down, you know, where the light is coming so that the focus, your eyes would just focus on the waterfall itself, but the brightness at the top is what brings it down.
Image received a 22. Misty morning. Scores? 878.
I love the top third of the image, but sometimes having almost too slow a shutter speed, to me, the waterfall itself almost looks fake. There's kind of a fine line between too much blur and not enough blur, but the top of the image I just absolutely love.
Image received a 23. Judges, you have 4 images to review for placement, starting with Misty Morning, going back to Godafoss Waterfall, going back to Cutting Force, and going back 1 to Iceland Waterfall. Would you like to see those 4 images again?
Yes, please.
Okay. Iceland Waterfall, Cutting Force, Godafoss Waterfall, and Misty Morning.
One more time.
I was suspecting that would happen reading the expression on your face. Okay, we've got Misty Morning, Godafoss Waterfall, Cutting Force, and Iceland Waterfall. Okay, judges, a 1, 2, 3, or 4, please, for Iceland Waterfall. Scores? 3, 3, 2. Cutting Force. Scores? 4, 4, 3. Godafoss Waterfall. Scores? 1, 1, 1. And Misty Morning. Scores? 2, 2, 4. We have a tie for second place between Misty Morning and Iceland Waterfall. So judges, a 1 or a 2, please, for Iceland Waterfall. Score? 2, 1, 1. So the judges have chosen for second, Iceland Waterfall, for third, Misty Morning, and Godafoss Waterfall is our blue ribbon winner in the master category. Thank you very much, judges, for your time this evening. Thank you, competition staff. The results of the competition will be included in the October issue of Photo Impressions, and the competition video will also be available on YouTube. And if anybody cares, the score of the Golden Knights game is 2-2.